again, it just tells the story of it's the evil and the ugliness of people's hearts these days is everywhere.
This is Franky Rose's Think Tank. Here's your host, Franky Rose.
Good morning, tankers. I hope everybody's doing well. So, Karen Reed trial, day 4. They are going on a field trip this morning. So we are going to be finishing up with yesterday's last witness. And when she's all finished up, we will be taking a break and they'll be going on a field trip. So I think that they will be going to the house. And I could also see them maybe driving the route from the different pubs back to that house and possibly doing the route from John O'Keefe's house to the house that the party was at. So, you know, everything with this case is up in the air. We've got people still picketing out front saying, "Free Karen Reed," hashtag "Free Karen Reed." We're not seeing a lot of justice for Karen Reed, nothing along those lines, but definitely justice for Canton. So we are going to have to see how today goes. It's going to be a little bit different when it comes to, give me 1 second, when it comes to how we've been doing things daily. Lordy, lordy. They start early, don't they? Okay. Sorry. First thing, we got ourselves a troll. So yeah, we'll be doing the first, finishing up with the last witness, and then we will be looking at a break and then possibly finishing up the morning session. I'm not sure how that's going to go. And then we'll go take that break and then the afternoon session, because she did say that today was going to be a full day in court. Now, if you believe that, I don't know. Good morning, Ruthie. If you believe that, I don't know. But as with everything in this case, 1 day at a time, 1 hour at a time, sometimes 1 minute at a time. I don't know what I think of Auntie Bev's rulings. I'm not quite sure what I think of a lot of this so far. It's almost like she's being biased, but I don't know. I don't want to shout that out for sure. Morning, Mexi. I don't want to shout that out as a definite. So we're looking at, they're saying 8 weeks in grand total for this trial. So the way I'm looking at it is, if the next while, as far as how she's been carrying it out, a day here, half a day there, I can see it taking 8 weeks. Hey, JJ, good to see you. Good to see you. Just getting started. A couple minutes before the court is supposed to open up, and we're good. How are you guys doing? Bright and early. JJ is in the building. So there's been a lot going on in the evenings, you know, with these different protests and stuff going on. But unless it's something big, I haven't been streaming it just when it gets out of control. I mean, it's all out of control. I know, part-time judges, shake my head. It blows me away. She was in Monday, off Tuesday, part of a day. How'd that go? Worked Monday, half a day Tuesday, off Wednesday, little bit of a day Thursday, and then today is just going to be all over the place. Just, we'll have to see how this works out as far as the courtroom goes. You know, I was watching this morning another channel that's actually outside of the court, and I was a little surprised to see how very few people are out there. There's not as many as I expected, just a handful. So I don't know if the crowds are depleting a little bit or if this is the way it's been the whole time, just with a different view. I'm not quite sure how this works out. But yeah, there's not, I thought there was, dozens and dozens, and it doesn't seem to be that way. Maybe a dozen, maybe kind of scattered randomly all over the place, but not like I thought. I thought it was thick with supporters. So I don't know. Maybe she's not going to have the support we expected. This trial, guys, I don't know what to think of it. I don't know what to think of it. I don't know if we're looking at crooked law enforcement, because we know how that does run rampant. Yeah, I think you're right. The crowd will increase again towards the end. Yeah, you're probably right. It's quite the case. I still don't know, guilty or innocent, because there's so much noise in between the two. If nothing else, maybe they're distracting everyone. That could be basically the totality, is the distraction. So I don't expect this witness this morning to take too much time. We are basically, I think the prosecution might be just finishing or just finished, and then we're looking at the defense. And then, of course, if they have something else to say as far as the prosecution goes, and then their field trip. And I really don't know how far all of this is from the courthouse. I don't know how long this will take. I don't know if it'll be an hour, a couple hours, half a day. I am not sure. Even if they go all the different routes to get back to the M house. I'm having a hard time seeing John O'Keefe land where he did. I watched yesterday, Dandy sent it to me, and it was a video that was basically a mock-up of what could have happened, and it was ridiculous. I mean, they've got him on the wrong side of the vehicle and the wrong headlight, and it's like, oh my goodness, if all this gets out there and people aren't thinking, they're just gonna go, oh yeah, that could happen. But no, you have to pay attention as to where everything is happening when they're doing these mock-ups. Between Lally and Bev, I'm leaning towards innocent. Yeah. Yeah. You as well? Mhm. Mhm. Oh, it's another one of these cases that are a mess, all over the place. All of these cases, you guys, are a mess right now. I was talking with Mexi yesterday, and it's just unreal how all these cases are ish shows right now, and important cases. They're ones that we've been looking at for years, if not at a couple of years, and they're all going sideways. Look at Richard Allen. I mean, he's supposed to be going to court within the next week and a half, I do believe. Yeah, very biased trial, Ruthie. Yeah, Richard Allen, they're looking at Odinus, crooked cops, crooked judges. We don't know what the hell's going on with that case. Koberger, I mean, we all worry about that. And kind of the same thing. His lawyer and Taylor thinks she is running that court. She's basically saying, Judge, you do this. And it's like, who the hell do you think you are, you little biatch? But she's like adamant that things are going to go her way. She doesn't ask the judge, she tells them. So I understand that Brian Koberger needs a very good lawyer. I get that. But come on. When it's all of these cases, when things are being twisted and tied up into knots, how do we know where the truth lies? Yeah, I naturally lean towards an underdog, and Reed is up against it. Well said. Exactly. Exactly. Good morning, Shauna. Yeah, she is up against it. You know, all we want is facts, not fiction. How do you decide a person's innocence or guilty when they're allowed to see BS and factor in BS? I know they say don't listen to what the lawyers have to say and don't this and don't that. Well, I tell you what, once it's out, you can't take it back. Even if the judge is like, don't pay attention to that. Once you've heard it, you can't unhear it. You can't unring a bell. It's like, what? Oh my God. Exactly. Especially when you have a judge telling you how to view the evidence. Yeah. Bev has got a control issue, does she not? It's unreal. It's unreal. She shoots things down when it comes from the defense. She approves other things. How many times does she interrupt defense when they're giving their witnesses or when they're going to do their cross? Constant interruptions. No, you can't do this. No, you can have 5 minutes. No, you can't do that. And come sidebar. You don't see them doing that so much when Lolly is up there. It's constant. You're right, Ruthie. It's constant. So, I mean, you can't micromanage. She's there to be impartial, not to set the theme as far as guilt or innocence. She's there to be impartial, and she's not coming across that way. Do you guys think that this type of behavior will give Karen Reed reason for an appeal? Do you think all of this interference? Because I think that's what it is interference. It's unlike any other trial we've watched. It's unlike. Yeah, no impartiality at all. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. So I hope that they're going to be able to. Honey badger. Oh, hold on here. They might be coming in. As soon as they're in. And there she is there. Who's she dialing?
Enter your participant ID. Please enter the meeting passcode followed by pound.
All righty.
You have joined the meeting as an attendee and will be muted throughout the meeting. The host, you are unmuted.
All right.
Hear ye. All persons have any business before the Honorable Beverly Benoni, Justice of the Norfolk Superior Court in the County of Norfolk. Draw near, give your attendance, and shall be heard. God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This court is now open. You may be seated.
2282CR117, the Commonwealth versus Karen Reed. Can I have counsel identify themselves for the record?
Adam Lally for the Commonwealth. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Lally.
Good morning, Your Honor. Laura McLaughlin for the Commonwealth.
Good morning, Ms. McLaughlin.
Morning, Your Honor. Alan Jackson from the Street.
Good morning, Mr. Jackson.
Your Honor, Elizabeth Little, also on behalf of the Street.
Good morning, Ms. Little.
Good morning, Judge David Yannetti for Karen Reed.
Good morning, Mr. Yannetti. Good morning, Ms. Reed. Good morning, jurors. So I have to ask you those same 3 questions. Were you able to follow the instructions and refrain from discussing this case with anyone since we left here yesterday? Everyone said yes and nodded affirmatively. Were you also able to follow the instructions and refrain from doing any independent research or investigation into this case?
Yes.
Everyone said yes or nodded affirmatively. Did anyone happen to see, hear, or read anything about this case since we left yesterday? Everyone said no or shook their heads. So while you bring your witness in, Mr. Lally, I'd like to see counsel at sidebar for a brief minute. But they
Oh my God, sidebar. Oh my God, Bev. Unreal. Oh, this woman, guys. So there's our first one, Carrie. And we haven't even been in that courtroom for 1 minute. Happy Friday. Not many. Oh, Lordy, Lordy. So there is, I do believe that's John O'Keefe's dad. The brother. I don't see the mom there today. I don't know if that's a sister or what that's staring her down. Aw, Shauna, thanks for coming in. We'll see you later, skater. Have a great day. Going for 6 today. I think 5 is so far where we're at. Ruthie's been, Carrie has been keeping count. She's been our sidebar counter. Just brutal. 7 a.m. And the sidebars have started. Yeah. Isn't that fancy? Yeah, I noticed that too. Very fancy. Can't jump through that. Only Superman. Oh. At the top of my head. The sun's coming in. Shh. Pretty fancy. I can't imagine if these people don't like her, and I can't imagine that they would like her. Why are they so close to her? Oh, what is this court thinking? I've never seen it where the witness, where the person who's charged is sitting that close to the family of the decedent. I've never seen this. Yeah, full day, minus the field trip after this witness. Oh, Lordy. Oh, yeah. I'd be smashed. I'd be smashed. And after watching some of these cases lately, it might be invited. Let's do it. Let's play that game. Tequila, anyone? So if they don't like her and they're sitting right there, we can see them. You'd think that you would feel their eyes boring through you. Like, what an uncomfortable position to be. Just unreal. Like, less than a jump. Errand time, feed those big boys of yours. Oh, one of your dogs are they all males? I can't remember. I thought you had a female, but it might be all male. And there's the family. Oh, there's the mom. It's John O'Keefe's mom. I don't know who that is. I think that's John O'Keefe's dad. Brother. So I'm wondering if the woman on the other side, what is that, his wife or a sister? Oh, 1 male and 3 female. Oh, wow. I thought you had 3. You got a lot of dogs. And they're hungry dogs, these Rotties. Oh, you got a plumber coming?
Court reporter.
Hope it's nothing too disastrous, JJ.
Could you raise your right hand one more time? Do you solemnly swear the evidence you give to the court and jury in the case down here should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you.
Okay, she's back.
Whenever you're ready, Mr. Lally.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, I have a few more questions for you. So, turn your attention to the period of time you testified about yesterday when you're at Mr. O'Keefe is in the back of the ambulance. With respect to his clothing, what, if any, observations did you make in regard to that clothing?
He had, in terms of what he was wearing.
First, in terms of what he was wearing.
He was wearing jeans. He had on a dark colored light zip up jacket. And I noticed 1 sneaker.
What?
Now, with regard to that clothing, what, if any, observations did you make in regard to the condition of that clothing?
What? It was soaked through.
What? Everyone has said he was wearing something different.
As far as
Hey, Christy.
hairs or holes or anything else with regard to that clothing, what, if any, observations did you make of that?
I didn't see any.
Really? Whoa. And no rips in the clothing.
Ms. Gilman, if I could have exhibit number 18.
What the hell?
May I
We
approach
have
the witness?
all
Yes.
said different clothes. On top. What the hell, man? A hoodie,
Okay.
a zip-up jacket, a long-sleeve T-shirt, a puffy jacket.
Now, first, firefighter McLaughlin, do you recognize what's up on the
Whoa.
screen as exhibit 18?
Do I recognize
Recognize what it is?
what it is?
Yes.
Yes.
And what do you recognize it to be?
The address of the call, 34 Fairview Road.
Now, with respect to this photograph, you observed within it or where
Fluffy
Mr.
jacket.
O'Keefe was on the ground when you first arrived.
From this angle, no, I don't.
Good question.
And if you could,
In the house.
if it was not on the photograph, is it off to the left, the right, or where would it be in relation to this photograph?
To the left, I would say.
And about how far off frame do you believe it was?
I'm not sure. So my view of the call was, my reference point wasn't a house on either side. The patient was off the road. So my view of this call was the patient was on the side of the road. The only thing that I noted was a fire hydrant. So in relation to, I know it was to the left of a house, but I'm not sure exactly how far left it would be from this picture, from this angle.
So your memory is to the left of the house near a fire hydrant, is that correct?
Yes.
Quite the investigation.
Take that down. I have no further questions.
All right, cross-examination.
Here we go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I just love this lawyer. He is the one that worked for Phil Spector,
Morning,
right?
Mrs. McLaughlin.
Morning.
One of Phil
You
Spector's
responded to the
lawyers?
call of an unresponsive male in the snow at 34 Fairview. That was the address you recalled, correct?
Correct.
The house you just looked at, that is in fact 34 Fairview, right?
Correct.
As Mr. O'Keefe was being transported by ambulance, you were instructed by firefighter Flamati to get information about the victim from Karen Reed, correct?
He wasn't being transported by the ambulance at that time. He was on the stretcher. And Tony, who was at the head of the stretcher, asked me to get information from Miss Reed about the patient, but he wasn't being transported in the ambulance at that time.
Who's Tony?
Firefighter Flamati.
Got it. When you did, in fact, did you follow those directives?
I did.
When you finally approached Miss Reed in order to get that medical history as best you could, what did the scene look like? Who was with you or around you?
Did Phil Spector.
So they started to move the stretcher towards the ambulance. Miss Reed was sort of, I guess I would describe it as moving around the scene. So she was moving, kind of going in circles. So I was really just focused on her, trying to get her to converse with me and get those questions. So that I wasn't really noticing anything else at that point. I was more just trying to contact her, and she was moving around.
What were you wearing at the time?
I had my like winter fire jacket on.
What color is it?
It's yellow and red.
Bright yellow for safety purposes.
Yes.
When you began your actual questioning, once everybody sort of stood still, you began your questioning of Miss Reed. You were standing in one spot. Miss Reed was standing to your right. Is that right?
Well, the questioning started, as I said, she was moving around the scene. So the questioning was ongoing as she was moving around to different locations. I don't know exactly how many of the questions I got out during the time that she was moving around. At one point, we did come to a stop. And at that point, she was to my right.
That's the point I want to focus your attention on, if I could. When you came to a stop, that's the point at which you recall the statement being made that you attribute to my client.
Yes.
Okay. And in that group, who was there? I want to make sure I understand this exactly.
So there was Miss Reed to my right. There was a civilian woman to my left. There was a police officer who was not directly across from me, but I would say maybe diagonal to me, closer to Miss Reed.
Your Honor, I'm holding a photograph this is shown to the Commonwealth. May I approach?
Yes.
Oh,
I'll show you
not a
Mr. McLaughlin, a
sidebar,
still photograph.
Bev.
I'm going to ask you to take a quick look at that photograph and look up after you've studied it for a second and tell me if you recognize people that are in that photograph.
I recognize people in it.
May I publish, Your Honor?
Yes. Is this an exhibit or are you moving to introduce it?
I'm moving to introduce it. It has not been introduced as yet.
Okay. So go ahead and have the witness adopt it.
Sure. Do you see the person closest to frame,
I don't like this woman.
closest to the camera,
Yes.
in what appears to be a yellow and red jacket?
Yes.
Who's that?
That would be me.
Who's to your right?
It appears to be Miss Reed,
And to your left?
a civilian woman,
And across,
A
as you said, sort of
civilian
diagonal,
woman.
closer to Miss Reed is,
a police officer.
do you know that officer's name, by the way?
I don't know his name.
Your Honor, with that, I would ask that this be marked as next in order.
Okay, is there any objection?
No objection.
So we are going to remark these exhibits today because of the problems that I indicated at sidebar.
You said
How do you
numbers
want to
were
do
not
this, Madam
important.
Reporter? I don't know where we start from.
She said she did not need the numbers. So she created the
Tori, how many
problem.
are in evidence?
What a biatch. He said, Mr. Jackson, I don't need the numbers.
Folks, it's my responsibility to make sure the record is intact. And you've heard numbers 1, 3, 309, 247. We need to straighten this out to make sure it's appropriate for you. You know what, Madam Clerk, Madam Court Reporter, just mark it as the next exhibit number, whatever in the hundreds that is, and we'll take care of this today. I don't want to waste your time, folks, while we do this, but it's very important that we do it.
Math. Brutal.
All right.
Numbers don't matter, Mr. Jackson.
All right. So there was any objection to that from the Commonwealth?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. McLaughlin, this is the time or the scene that you've told us about when you heard the statement that you've attributed to my client, correct?
Sorry, say that again?
Sure. This is a moment in time, it captures a moment in time when you're standing there. To your right is Karen Reed, which you've described. To your left is a civilian female, which you've described. And across from you is an officer, which you've also described.
Yes.
So this would be the time or close in time to the time that you heard the statement that you attribute to Ms. Reed, correct?
Yes.
The first time you ever made that official report, an official report to law enforcement regarding that statement was January 30th, 2022, correct?
Well, yes and no. The statement was made in front of the police officer, so that would technically be the first time that statement was made to a police officer in my presence. And then, yes, I testified to it on January 30th, as you said.
You said it on January 30th. You weren't testifying under oath, correct?
Okay. Said it.
Okay.
Yes.
My question was really, and I appreciate you clarifying, my question was really the first time you actually told this statement to any law enforcement officer was on January 30th.
Yes.
Okay, we can take that down.
Oh my God.
That was when you met with
Judge.
Trooper Michael Proctor, correct?
Yes.
Obviously, that was very close in time to the event. It was the next day. Is that right?
Yes.
The events were close.
The 29th. Yeah. So it would be the next day.
Right, 29th, 30.
Yeah.
Okay. The events were fresh in your mind at that time?
Yes.
You obviously knew about the importance of that interview. You knew that it dealt with a police officer who had passed.
I knew it was important to talk to the police about what I heard.
And you wanted to be accurate.
Yes.
You wanted to be as detailed as you possibly could.
Yes.
And you understand that memories, obviously, they get a little worse with time, not better with time, right?
Sure.
The closer in time you are to the event, the fresher your memory is going to be about the details of that event. You would agree with that, right?
Sure.
You told Trooper Proctor the day after the event on January 30th that the statement that you attribute to my client was actually made to the female, not to you in response to your questioning. That's what you told Trooper Proctor, correct?
I don't have those notes in front of me, so
Here we
I don't know
go.
that I can tell you that that's correct, but the statement was made in response to my question. However, Miss Reed was looking at the civilian woman as she said that.
Does it refresh your recollection that what
Don't read what you think refreshes a recollection. You can show or you cannot read it. Yes.
Shut up.
Take a look
Kev.
at the highlighted portion of that report and look up when you're finished.
Jesus. You cannot.
Okay.
Ma'am?
Sure.
Your Honor, may I
Yes.
approach? Does that refresh your recollection about what you told Trooper Proctor on January 30th?
Yes.
And you told Trooper Proctor,
No,
quote,
Good question.
Let her,
in turn,
hold on. I'll see it, Ted.
Oh my God. This woman, you guys. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm losing it.
may I, Your Honor?
Yes.
In fact, what you told Trooper Proctor was, quote, Karen then turned to her friend and stated, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. End quote. Correct?
Okay.
Is that yes?
Yes, if you're saying that's in quotation marks in the in that, then yes.
That's what's in the report.
Okay.
And I'm not, you don't have to agree with me. I'm asking yes or no questions. Not okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Oh my God.
So in fact, what you told Trooper Proctor was that Karen Reed looked at the female to your left and said 4 times, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Correct?
Yes.
And have you since learned that the name or identity of the female that was standing to your left?
No.
Yep.
You're aware that the female that was standing to your left reported the exact same statement?
No.
Are you aware that the female standing to your left reported that exact same statement as, could I have hit him? Did I hit him? Did I hit him?
No, I'm not aware of that.
You then went back to the ambulance after you heard that statement that you believed you heard my client state.
Yes.
You opened the ambulance door, correct?
Yes.
That was the back door,
The side door.
the side door. And there were two firefighter-paramedics in that ambulance at the time, correct?
I believe there were more than 2 at that time.
2 of them included firefighter Nuttall and firefighter Flamani.
Yes.
And at that point, you told them what you believed you had just heard.
So I went into the back of the ambulance. I said, this is his name. This is his date of birth. She says he doesn't have any medical history or allergies, doesn't take daily medications. And then I said, she's saying I hit him. And firefighter Nuttall motioned to his face and said something.
Objection, Your Honor.
Ask another question.
So the answer to my question is yes, you told in front of Flamati and Nuttall the phrase, I hit him.
Yes.
You can write that in any report.
I don't write a report in this scenario of my job.
Let her finish the answer, please.
So there are
Jesus.
2 people that will write reports in my department on a call, one being the lead paramedic and the other being the officer who's on scene. So those are the people that write reports, and I was neither of those, so I did not write that in a report.
Okay.
That's correct.
So let me ask the question again. You didn't write it in any report?
No.
You didn't write it in any notes?
No.
You didn't document that statement in any way whatsoever, correct?
Other than my interview with Proctor and my subsequent testimony.
You didn't document that statement in any way yourself, did you?
No.
Since January 30th, in that conversation that we just talked about with Trooper Proctor, your statement has evolved. Is that right?
I don't know how to answer that.
You testified yesterday to something quite different
Not quite different.
than what you testified, I'm sorry, than what you stated to Trooper Proctor.
Respectfully, I think my testimony has been pretty consistent.
You testified to something yesterday quite different in context than what you told Trooper Proctor. Isn't that right?
I don't know that that's right.
Well, you told Trooper Proctor, Karen Reed looked at a female standing to your left, said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Right?
Yes.
Yesterday, you told these jurors that Karen Reed said, I hit him, and an officer said, you what? And she repeated, I hit him. And the officer immediately turned and went to find another sergeant. Is that right or no? Yes or no?
No, there was more to that testimony.
That's not what you said yesterday?
I think I said more than that, than what you just repeated.
Is what I said consistent with what you said yesterday? There's a lot of things that you said, more of. I'm asking, is that the sum and substance of what you told these jurors yesterday?
Yes.
So you would agree that from that time till yesterday, your story has evolved. It's changed.
Would I agree with that?
No.
I don't know that I agree with that.
You think the story that you told Trooper Proctor is exactly the same?
I understand what you're saying. So I understand what you're saying.
So has your story evolved?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Look at the snarky look on her face now.
Ms. McLaughlin, who's Caitlin Albert?
I went to high school with somebody named Caitlin Albert.
Somebody named Caitlin Albert.
I went to high school with somebody named Caitlin Albert.
So do you know Caitlin Albert?
I do.
You're friends with Caitlin Albert?
I would say more acquaintances, not close friends.
How do you describe an acquaintance?
I would say that we have mutual friends, so we might see each other occasionally because of mutual friends, but we don't have a one-on-one friendship or hang out regularly.
Who's your dad?
I don't know.
Oh,
Do you know who her family is?
Objection.
Sustained.
why?
Yes.
Why? Oh my God, you guys. What the F is going on in this courtroom? Oh my God. Like, this just is not cool. Yeah, they all have been. And little Miss frickin' Bev up there is like, sidebar. Oh, you can't say that. No, you can't ask if that's her dad. You can't. It's like, what? Oh my God. It's almost, 3. And we've only been in the courtroom for a half hour. And probably even a little less than that. And every single time that the defense is up, every time it's like, what? How can you continuously let me just finish up here. This is it. Yeah, this is it. And you can't tell me that through all of this, she didn't understand that this girl she's seen, as basically as a friend, she didn't want to admit that. She didn't want to admit that this was the dad. Didn't want to admit she went to school with this girl. She didn't want to. Oh my God. Sidebar, judge. He can't ask who her dad is. No, don't ask that. Sidebar. Oh, 4 hours, Chopper? Yeah, he's been a cop for 30 years. Exactly. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't like this judge even a hair. Why is she on the bench? She knows all these people. The judge knows all these people. So what do? Call that witch to the stand and just say, hey there, bitchy Bev. Last word, Bev.
All right. Ms. McLaughlin, I'm going to let you step out for a few minutes. Show them what you have and let a court officer know when you're ready for me to come back out.
All rise for the court, please.
Oh my God, you guys. This is so frustrating to watch. As you can tell, I'm even getting wound up here, sitting in my little high horse. It's just like, what the hell? I think and I agree 1000%, Dandy. I hope the jury does see what's going on because, I mean, it's very obvious to all of us. Every single time the defense is up, she cuts them off. She stops them. Just brutal. I mean, if she keeps doing this, she's not even giving the defense a chance, and that is not right. She is supposed to be impartial, not guiding it the way she feels it should go. It's blowing my mind. You don't see her shut Lolly up, him and his 5 hairs. It's like, what are you doing to this trial? How can they? Oh, she's well said. She's orchestrating everything. She absolutely is. Yep. How can the defense suggest a third-party culprit if they can't ask simple questions? It's true. She's cutting them off at the knees every chance she can. You know, and Lolly himself, he's a shit lawyer. But Bev and him have probably worked together many, many years. So she's just going, okay, Mr. Lolly. And Mr. Jackson, no. Mr. Jackson, no. Like, come on. It's these cases that we're watching closely right now are all so stressful for us on the outside. Watching this BS that goes on in our legal system? Are you kidding me already? No wonder everybody's up in arms about what's going on in this world when we can't even sit here and watch a trial and have the judge be impartial. How do they expect with all this ish going on in our world? Judges and prosecutors are elected. Who's voting for these folks? Yeah, right? All the frickin' cops. For her, Auntie Bev, and the prosecutors, I don't know. Maybe they just go with the same old, same old. You know, oh, well, you know, he hasn't caused any trouble so far. Well, no, it's because the guy's like unreal. Oh my goodness, Ruthie, it's disturbing me. I don't care guilty or innocent. I just want the truth. You know, that's all of us ever want is the truth. Not some orchestrated play in Bev's courtroom. This is not about Bev. This is about John O'Keefe and him getting justice. It's a good thing I don't drink because I'd be taking shots already. And then see Franky go. Everyone deserves a fair trial. You're right, James. Like, what the hell is going on in these courtrooms? It's disturbing. Unreal. Guys, do you mind sharing this out on your platforms for me, please? YouTube isn't working fair with me these days. I'd really appreciate it if you could share this out. Twitters, on your Facebook pages, whatever it is, whatever platform you use. Because YouTube is doing a lot of censoring. And if you're not a great big channel, you're not getting into that algorithm. So I need thumbs up, please. Share on your platforms. Oh, thanks, Dandy. I appreciate that. Much appreciated, friend. YouTube has not been, I even watched Icked Mel the other day. Now, he's got a lot of subs, and I really enjoy watching him. But even he was saying that he's having a hell of a time with YouTube right now, and he's a big channel. When you're a little itty bitty thing like our channel here, guys, we need all the help we can get. All the help we can get. You guys are all so faithful to me and to the channel. I do appreciate every single one of you that continue to follow the channel. I appreciate you more than you know. I truly do. When you're against a great big platform, you don't even get responses. That's okay, Ruthie. No, that's okay. Just anyone who does, it's all good. I share on my Twitter and get it out that way. I've started up a Facebook, and I don't have any followers. It's basically just for me to get content out. And I just started it. You have a platform but never use it. A YouTube platform, friend? You'd probably be great at it, Chopper. Just be prepared. Anybody who wants to start up a channel, be prepared for a lot of I have Facebook, but only stalk my older children. I'm talking about Twitter being only for checking a verdict. Yeah, Twitter, I use that platform. I like it, but I don't get involved with anything that's going on. I just do my thing, share what I think is important, put my stuff out. I can't think yet of, has Lolly been shut down? Chopper. I'd follow you just for the entertainment. JJ. She is. I agree, Dandy. Powdering Lolly's butt so far. It's just, it's very distressful to see this stuff going on. Like I said, our world's going for shite right now, and we can't even keep a courtroom honest. My sense of humor, and my sense of humor is also what I think. Honesty is always the best policy, Chopper. And this is why we're having problems with this courtroom. Unreal. Unreal. In my opinion, Bev knows she can she can route this trial any way she wants, whichever direction she wants. She's in charge and she's making sure everybody knows it. You and James Chopper. Yeah. Yeah. It's probably something not overly big. The truth of some matter that the court doesn't want out or want in, I should say. That's my guess. Is it's probably some actual factoids. And Lolly's going, no, not facts. Yeah, facts. We can't have facts in this courtroom. We're busy trying to railroad someone. And whether she's guilty or innocent, all the lies that are going on in the background, including an FBI, oh my God, investigation is the word I'm looking for. And they're looking into prosecution and they're still getting a powdered butt. Oh, you poor guys. Oh, no. I hope the evidence actually determines things because it seems like they're trying to keep evidence out. I mean, why in a court of law are facts not important? I guess that would be my biggest question. Is why are facts not allowed in this courtroom? Just simple facts. Right and wrong. Good and evil. If Karen Reed is guilty, Karen Reed is guilty. That's the way it works. But if she's innocent, she's innocent. You know, I'm sorry if you don't want to look at all your cop friends, but you might have to. You know, the last witness, this witness, I'm sorry. She's like, oh, well, I went to school with a girl by that name. Okay. Were you friends? Oh, well, let me think about that. How can I word this? We were acquaintances. Sidebar. Yeah. Oh, did you happen to know who your friend's dad was? Sidebar. It's like, oh my God. Oh yeah, you absolutely will find good ones and bad ones. But you know what? I know this about cops. Trust me, I know this very, very well through life. I don't have a criminal record. I'm not a bad guy. But I've seen cops do bad things. Very bad things. And I've known some judges who have done some really bad things. But I don't like to see it in an M trial. Oh, there she is.
All right, so Mr. Jackson, let's mark for identification the items that you told us about at sidebar.
First in order would be do you want me to describe them for the record, Your Honor?
No.
Jesus.
So they're not to be put up on the screen.
These are 4 items. One of them.
So don't describe them. I need to see them. So let's bring them up, mark them for identification, Madam Clerk. Then you'll get them back.
Oh
but I need these
I want to punch her.
marked for identification, and I need to see them.
Oh, you're marking them for identification
Thank
now.
you. So
okay.
we'll
Mark them first.
mark them first.
Jesus, this lady. Morning, Tony.
All right.
Oh, I don't like her. I don't like her. Mark it for identification, but I thought you said numbers don't matter, Bev. Own your shite.
Thank you.
Mr. Clerk.
Oh my God. She just wings it day to day? She needs to lose her job. It's right in front of us. We're all seeing
Okay,
what is
so
going
we
on.
have four pieces of paper marked for identification that appear, you got these off of social media sites, Mr. Jackson?
That's correct.
Okay, when did you get these?
For fuck's sakes. Sorry, guys.
I couldn't tell you the exact date, but we've probably had them for between 6 months and a year.
All right. And Commonwealth, you've not seen these before?
No, Your Honor.
Shut up, Lally.
So we'll talk about Rule 14 in a little bit, but we'll bring the witness in. You can ask her questions, Mr. Jackson, about her vacation that you mentioned, the drinking that you talked about, the relationship with Ms. Albert. I've forgotten the first name already. And
Caitlin.
Caitlin, and about the house. So you can ask her questions about that. And let's see, you can show her these exhibits or these marked for identification if you need to. You may have trouble actually getting those into evidence, but I'm going to let you find out. You can ask her to identify them, how long ago they were, things like that.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
All right, can we bring in Ms. McLaughlin, please? Yes.
She doesn't do this to the defense. She just
And Commonwealth, you just saw these today. I'm sorry, I don't remember if I asked you that.
Yes, and yes.
And you
just
were
told him.
objecting that, you objected sidebar that these come in at all?
Correct.
Okay.
Oh my God. Yeah, as if,
Oh, here's the
right?
fourth one, I'm sorry. Mr. Jackson, here's the last one.
Oh my God. I'm sorry, guys. I'm worked up.
All right, so Ms. McLaughlin, Mr. Jackson's going to be allowed to ask you questions outside the presence of the jury, and you're still under oath and you have to answer them truthfully, okay?
Okay. Oh my God. This is just brutal. You
McLaughlin, when just briefly as a predicate, when you stepped out, I just want to make sure we're very clear. Did you have a conversation with anybody from the Commonwealth between the time you walked out of court and just now?
Just about if I needed a drink of water or to use the restroom.
Okay, but nothing about the substance of your testimony?
No.
Ms. McLaughlin, I asked you before we broke if you know who Caitlin Albert is.
Yes.
You said that you went to high school with somebody by that name, correct?
Yes.
You in fact know that person as a friend, correct?
I know her.
She's more than an acquaintance.
I would say she's an acquaintance. She's not a close friend.
Is she in a group of friends of yours?
We have mutual friends.
How long have you known her?
Probably since high school.
When you say, and I don't want to ask your age, I wouldn't do that. How many years, how long of a span of years have you known her?
Since high school, so maybe 10.
And you know her family, generally?
I don't.
You don't know anything about her family?
I don't know her family.
Had you ever been to her house?
Not that I recall ever being there.
Not that you recall, or you haven't? So there's two different things.
I don't recall ever being there.
Okay, so you might have been there, you just don't recall.
I don't recall ever being there.
Okay. If I were to ask you if you have ever been to her house, yes or no, you cannot answer that because you don't know. You cannot recall, correct?
I would say, I would lean towards no. I have no recollection of ever being at her house.
Are you friends with her on social media?
Yes.
May I approach her on it?
Yes.
I'm just going to leave all four of these up here. I know what they look like. Can you do me a favor and take a look at the first document? What does that document appear to be?
It says Caitlin's friends.
What does it look like? That's a printout of.
I'm sorry?
What does that look like? It's a printout of. Does that look like Facebook or one of the social media apps?
Yeah, I don't know exactly. some social media.
Okay. Under Caitlin's friends, do you see your handle, for lack of a better phrase?
I do.
Okay. Is that you?
Yes.
Okay. Can you look at the next photograph? Before we talk about that next photograph, which is, I should go in order for the record, Your Honor. The first one was H. Before we talk about I, which is the next photograph, how long have you been social media friends, quote, friends with Caitlin Albert?
I don't know.
More than 5 years?
Probably.
More than 8 years?
I don't know.
The second photograph, or the second document, appears to be a photograph. It's I, is that right?
Yes,
Do you see yourself in that photograph?
I do.
You see Caitlin in that photograph?
Sorry, the sun.
I do.
When was that photograph taken?
I have no idea.
Where was that photograph taken?
I don't
I have
know.
no idea.
You have no idea how long ago that was?
I don't.
What was the event that was depicted, or that is depicted in that photograph?
I don't know.
Good God.
Is that local, or was that on a trip somewhere?
I don't know. Probably local. If it's a beach, I don't remember. I've never been away like to a beach on vacation with all of these people, so probably local.
When we say local, let's talk about local. I don't mean, we may have different definitions. Where would that be? What beach? I'm not as familiar with the location.
I'm not sure.
Maybe on the Cape?
Possibly.
Do you recognize some of the other folks in that photograph?
I do.
Matter of fact, there's a lot of people in that photograph, right?
There's a lot of people in it.
Did you take a trip with all those people at some point in the past?
Take a trip.
To the beach?
Did I go to the beach at some point with these people? Yes.
Okay. When did you go to the
Crying
beach
out
with all those
loud.
folks?
I don't know. I don't know when this picture is from.
Have you
It
gone?
seems old to me, but
Have you? Well, you can see yourself. I mean,
yeah.
What was that? Did you say it seems old to you?
Yeah, to me.
Okay.
This isn't like a recent to me.
how old do you think that photograph is?
I don't know. It could be around high school. I'm not sure.
And I know Mr. Jackson didn't want to ask you how old you are. When did you get out of high school?
2014. I
Okay.
graduated.
So could that have been around 2014?
It could be.
So you've known Caitlin for at least that long.
Yeah.
And when I say travel, I mean travel outside of Canton, gone places with her, correct?
Yes.
Posed for photographs with her,
Yes.
with other folks.
Yes.
Looks like socializing and partying, correct?
Looks like socializing.
Maybe a small vacation.
I've never been on vacation with a big group of people like this.
Well, that doesn't look like what would you call that if that's not like a mini vacation?
A day at the beach?
A day at the beach, okay. So maybe a day vacation.
Sure.
Okay. Let's look at the next photograph. Jay. May I approach you?
The judge is deciding whether or not they
Need to
can
remind
actually see these facts. You know, maybe
That
they want
photograph looks a little
facts
older, correct?
thrown out.
They both look old to me. I don't know when they're from.
I'm going to ask you the same questions about that. These aren't trick questions. I don't want to waste your time. What's that from?
I don't remember specifically what or where this is.
Do you see yourself in that photograph?
I do.
You see Caitlin in the photograph?
How do you not know?
I do.
You're all posing
All
for the
these
camera,
dumb
correct?
people. All of a
Yes.
sudden.
What's the location?
I don't know.
No idea.
I don't.
This is yet another socializing event with Caitlin that you can't recall.
I don't know where this is
that-
exactly.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on your words. Go ahead.
I don't know where this is exactly.
How do you
So you've
not
had
know?
so many socializing events with Caitlin and other folks that you can't pinpoint this one as opposed to any of the others that you've had.
No, I'm saying I can't. These photos are old. I don't know. I don't remember where these were. or the circumstances around them. That's what I'm saying.
You see how you're dressed in that photo?
Yes.
You see how, do you see the other friends that are there with you?
Yeah.
How many people would you estimate are in that photo?
Do you want me to count how many people?
Give me it. I don't have the photo in front of me, so just give me it. Is it more than 5?
12.
12 people.
Ish.
Do you recognize those dozen people?
I do.
Did you go on a day trip with those dozen people?
Yeah, possibly.
When?
I don't know.
Where?
I'm sorry. I don't know.
Well,
I
look,
don't remember.
How many times have you gone on day trips with those dozen people?
I don't know.
How about turning back to
my
photograph
God.
I? How many times have you gone on day trips and socialized with those number of people? So it's like probably double that, 20 or 25 people.
I don't know.
That's a big group of friends of yours that includes Caitlin Albert, right?
A big group of mutual friends.
So it's not just that she's a mutual friend, she's a friend. Is that right?
No, yes.
As I said before, I would consider myself more of an acquaintance. We have mutual friends. I wouldn't consider her a close friend, but yeah, I mean, that would be my answer.
You basically grew up with her, went to high school with her.
I didn't grow up with her. I went to high school with her.
When I say grow up with her, I mean, you grew up in the same town as her, right?
Grew up in the same town.
Went to the same high school as she did.
Yes.
Socialized with the same friends as she did.
Yes.
Went on day trips with her.
Yes.
And apparently have all the same friend group. Right?
I don't know that we have all the same friend group. These are people that we're both friends with.
But you don't consider her anything more than just an acquaintance.
I think I described it to you.
He's asking you a
The
question.
answer to my
Shut up
question
and
is you don't
answer it.
consider her to be anything more than an acquaintance.
I wouldn't consider her to be a close friend.
Now let's take a look at the last photograph.
Oh, Lordy.
Describe what's in that photograph.
It's a picture of me. Caitlin is in it, and there's seems to be other people
Seems to be.
in it as well.
May I approach?
Yes.
What a horrible judge. Horrible, horrible judge.
Both of you can take it. Sorry, I just want to drop it on you. That's a close-up photograph of who?
Caitlin, and I'm also in it.
And
Is that
you're doing what in the photograph as it relates to Caitlin?
It seems like I'm kind of kneeling down next to her.
Touching her?
Can I see that for just a minute, please?
why? Oh my
Sorry,
God.
can you show me you? Okay.
So just for the record, and may I approach one more time? Ron?
Yes.
Thank you. Take a look at that one more time. You're sort of just behind Caitlin in that photograph?
Yes.
Caitlin's the one drinking the beer?
Yes.
This
You
is
got your
hard to
right arm
watch.
around her?
Yes.
Both appear to be wearing swimwear,
Yes.
bathing suits,
Yes.
and you're giving some sort of a sign with your left hand?
No, I'm not.
Is that somebody else's hand that I saw? Maybe that's Caitlin's.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't have the photograph in front of me. I don't have it committed to memory. Looks like that's a photograph that you and Caitlin posed for together, correct?
It seems like it's a close-up of a bigger, like a picture. It seems to be zoomed in on a group of people.
Which was posted on social media, is
Okay.
that right?
Are you telling me that?
I'm asking you that. You ever seen that posted on social media?
I don't recall.
I don't recall seeing this picture, but if it was on social media, then Okay.
How long ago was that picture taken?
I don't know.
Who took the picture?
I don't know.
Where were you when the photograph was
Don't
taken?
know.
Probably at a beach with, if we're wearing bathing suits.
Probably at a beach or at a
No.
beach?
Well, I can't see a beach in the picture. We're in bathing suits. It could be at a beach.
Right. Do you recognize the bathing suit that you're wearing in the photograph?
No.
No.
You literally don't even recognize your own outfit?
No.
So that doesn't help define where you were and when that photograph was taken?
No, sir.
Wow.
Do any of these photographs remind you that you've been to Caitlin's house at some point in your friendship with her?
No.
Has Caitlin ever been to your house?
Not to my recollection.
When was the last time you talked to Caitlin?
I don't remember exactly. It's probably been a few years.
When was the last time you went to an event, socializing event with Caitlin?
Again, I don't remember exactly.
Did you talk to Caitlin at any point
What a disgrace.
on or around January 29th, 2022?
No.
When was the last time you had talked to Caitlin before January 29th, 2022?
I don't know.
A disgrace.
Would have been a day before, a week before, a month before?
No, I don't talk to her. Like I said, we're not like close friends, so it's like pretty infrequent that we would interact. So I don't know when the last time before that.
What about texting or Snapchatting or communicating in that way?
I don't remember.
Would it have been a week before the 29th?
I don't think so.
You don't think so, or you know so?
I don't think so.
What about after the 29th, after you responded to 34 Fairview? You ever have any communication with her?
Not that I can recall.
So is that something that you think you might remember if you responded to a house of her father where there's a police officer dead or dying on the yard, on the lawn, 30 feet from the front door? You might have had a conversation with Caitlin?
I've never had a conversation with Caitlin about that call or this case.
Did you ever contact any of your other friends
Whoa.
about the fact that you responded to Caitlin's parents' house?
No.
Were you ever asked about this relationship that you had with Caitlin Albert, this friendship that you had with Caitlin Albert at or near the time of the 29th of January?
No.
Did you ever disclose to anybody that you had a relationship with Caitlin Albert at or around the time of this event?
No.
When you went to 34 Fairview, you knew that that was the Albert family home, correct?
No.
When did you learn that it was the Albert? You now know that.
I know that now.
When did you find out?
I don't know. I don't recall. It was some point after. It was, but I don't know when.
Would it have been the next day?
No.
You and firefighter Flamati and firefighter Nuttall were all discussing this case pretty intently after this event, correct?
No.
It's not that often in the little town of Canton that a police officer is found dead or dying on another police officer's lawn. Wouldn't you agree with that?
We responded to a medical call. So the conversation after the fact was at the hospital, debriefing the call, going over what happened, what we use for equipment, what we need, and just like that was the extent of the conversation.
Would you agree that this case, given its notoriety, is discussed at the fire station almost daily?
I don't know when I'm not there, but it does get brought up.
And obviously the fact that the house belongs to, or belonged at the time, to the Albert family is part of that discussion.
I don't know. Like I said, it gets brought up, but I just avoid it. I don't engage in the conversation.
Whatever.
It was certainly enough of a subject matter that you learned, according to you, after the 29th, that house belonged to Brian Albert, Cole Albert, parents of your friend Caitlin Albert, right?
Well, at that point, it was on the news consistently, so I don't know where that like information was introduced, but
it was pretty early on after the 29th.
I don't recall when it was known that that was the case.
I mean, you didn't learn that that was the Albert family home last week.
No.
You've known it for going on 2.5 years.
I don't know exactly when I learned that that was the house.
I realize you don't know exactly, Ms. McLaughlin. I'm not asking you the day you learned. I'm asking you, you've known this basically through the lifespan of this case.
At some point after I learned it.
Right. I'm just trying to figure out about how long after, a week after, a month after.
I'm not sure.
But it was more toward January 29th than it was yesterday, correct?
Correct.
Have just a moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
So why does she get to listen to the testimony before the jury gets a chance to? Why does she get to weed out what she doesn't want said? She does not look happy. If looks could unalive, that one would do it. Yeah, exactly, JJ. I'd ask, have you been treated for dementia?
One other, just a couple of brief questions.
She's getting railroaded.
Do you know any of Caitlin's siblings?
No.
You don't know Brian Albert Jr.?
No.
You know of any of her extended family that might be a little closer in age to you, like Colin Albert?
No.
You ever met any of them?
Not that I recall.
Not that you recall, or no?
I don't remember meeting any of them.
Your Honor, that's all I have right now.
All right, Mr. Lally, any questions?
Sure. Just a few, Your Honor.
Oh my God.
So, Ms. McLaughlin, you're not friends with Caitlin Albert, correct?
I'm sorry.
You're not friends with Caitlin Albert, is that correct?
I would say she's an acquaintance, not a close friend.
You were shown some photographs of you in a fairly large group with Caitlin Albert, correct?
Yes.
You don't know when those were, correct?
I don't know exactly.
You don't know where you were when those were taken, correct?
No, not exactly. They seem old.
And just to back up, you knew her in high school, but you weren't friends in high school, right?
I would categorize our relationship as always being just acquaintances. I knew her. We had some mutual friends, but we were never close friends. We don't have a one-on-one relationship.
And as far as high school versus post-high school, would you see her more so during high school, the high school years, or after you graduated?
Well, probably more in high school just because you're there every day. But then afterwards, yeah, it was only here and there. Like I said, like mutual friends. So maybe events for mutual friends, I might run into her.
And to be clear, and I think you made reference to it, but that last photograph that's marked as K, that seems to be a cropped or sort of zoomed in of a larger photo, is that right?
Yeah, yes.
Now, as far as each of those photos you were shown, you're present in a photo with Caitlin Albert in a much larger group, correct?
Yes.
Have you ever hung out or socialized with Caitlin Albert outside of the setting of a large group?
No.
Is that what you got?
You've never been to her house before that date of January 29th that you know of, correct?
Correct.
She's never been to your house that you know of, correct?
Correct.
Is that all you got, Lolly? Why don't you just quit?
Now, as far as that first one, that's as far as social media is concerned, as far as a friends list, and without sort of doing it, I'm sort of putting that in their quotes. How many friends would you say you have on social media in total?
I don't know. Maybe over 500. I don't know.
And of those 500 people, how many of those 500 people would you consider actual friends?
Much, much less than that. Less than 10.
All right, why don't we wrap this up, Mr. Lally?
Sure. Just when it comes to that day that you responded, you're working with the fire department, you responded to a call on January 29th to a home, or as you say, to somewhere on the side of the road. Did you have any idea of whose house that was adjacent to where the treatment was concerned with regard to your patient?
No.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. So there was an objection that this was in violation of Rule 14 to admit these exhibits, Mr. Lally. That's what you said, correct?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I agree. So the exhibits don't come in, but based on this voir dire and the answers, I'm going to give you some leeway on exactly what you did. Okay. The relationship, the socialization and the extent of it, friends on social media, those areas. You didn't quite get everything that you mentioned at sidebar you thought you'd get. So that's not coming in.
So
Jesus.
If you
stay within the parameters.
So why don't you come over here then, just because
you like to run the show. You want to, yeah, exactly. Why have a jury? Why have a jury? I'm pissed at this judge. Like, look at her. Like, she knows. She's going down, I think, guys. I think the judge is going to make sure of it. Like, they can't even get the basics in. Yeah, we're at 5 sidebars. It is. This is just, it's hard to watch. Like, it's literally pissing me off back here. You know, we just want to see justice. This woman, is a judge going to decide what's truth and not the truth? They don't need a jury. So, yeah. So what if they come back and they say, oh, God, she's been railroaded. She's innocent. What does the judge do? Say, okay, I'm going to overrule that. I believe she's guilty. Is this what's going to happen? $23,000. They knew each other. It's so frustrating. Unreal. Nope. Nope. She'll be ready for the questions now. And the judge just basically said that the stuff that they just went over is not going to be used. She did. She did. And Bev stayed on. She's like, yeah, no, I'm not moving. So if nothing else, if this continues, because we're not getting true facts, I hope she can appeal this and then go up against another judge, because what I'm seeing here is a disgrace. This judge is deciding which road the jury goes down. Yes, the FBI is looking into this. I'm not sure if they're finished yet, but they were looking at the prosecutors. Take the case to a higher court, so Bev is not there. I think she can after this trial. You know, she can try and get it reversed, but I think that starts the appeal process, right? I think now that it's going, it's going. I think the next step, if this doesn't work, is literally the appeals. She's got to be stunned just sitting there seeing all of this stuff get thrown out. All the way this judge is behaving, like I would be scared shitless sitting there seeing the way this judge is behaving and what she's letting in and what she's not letting in, who they can talk to, who they can't, what the jury hears, what they don't. I'm sure there will be plenty to get an appeal and she'll win like Harvey Weinstein. Oh my God, that pig. Oh my God, that pig. That's just another story, isn't it? What the hell is going on with that? Nobody's seen her run over the cop. Nobody's seen her. Nobody's.
If you all think they're right outside the door, you're mistaken.
Please be seated.
Nope, nobody.
Jimmy, do you have any envelopes over there?
I do.
Nope.
Any more? Do you need any more? I'll work on it.
No, this is good.
All right.
I agree, Douglas. I agree.
Jesus,
So that must be Jim.
Awesome, thank you.
I don't know, Dingo, how this has even come about because there is so, yeah, that's right. They didn't investigate anyone other than Karen. It's just been bad. It's been really bad right from the get-go. And this is why everybody's outside screaming, is because they can see that this judge is not playing fair.
Ms. McLaughlin, did you say you had a water? Is there a water waiting for you out there that you need? Or?
I'm okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you go to a superior court judge like they did in Delphi. I think they're going to go through this, and then that's when the appeal will happen. When you've got the legal system fighting against you, literally in the court, how do you win? You've got the judge, you've got the cops, you've got everybody. It's just very frustrating to watch, you guys. I don't know what the hell is wrong with this judge other than that she's a shitty at her job and knows a lot of the people that are, yeah, she does. But I honestly think she believes she has this right. I hope the uppers are watching her, because they're watching some of the prosecution and some of the cops. And that's not being said. You know, they can come up with all this BS, but when it comes to facts, no, we don't want to share those in court. Yeah, superiority complex. Boom. Oh, my word.
Please rise to the jury.
Once the light stops glaring, I'll come back on screen. Yeah, it's true. That nothing would surprise me. Nothing would surprise me. Ooh.
This court is in session. Please be seated.
So jurors, from time to time, there are things that I need to discuss with the lawyers, as you saw. We try and do it as quickly as we can. It's in an effort to make sure that what you see and hear in this case is appropriate for you to see and hear. So sometimes we spend a little time now that will save us a lot of time later. So we do appreciate your patience.
She's so full of shit.
Mayor.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. McLaughlin, thank you for your patience. When we last left off, I was asking you about your relationship with Caitlin Albert. You recall that?
Yes.
I want to ask you a few more questions about that. You and Caitlin Albert have known each other for how long?
Since high school.
Which is, give me a span of time.
So probably about 10 years.
You have traveled with Caitlin Albert and friends. When I say traveled, I don't mean to exotic locations. I mean day trips, etc.
Yes.
You have a group of mutual friends together, correct?
We have mutual friends, correct?
Those mutual friends have gone on day trips with you and Caitlin Albert involved?
Correct.
On more than one occasion, as a matter of fact?
Correct.
On many occasions, matter of fact?
I don't know.
More than 5?
I don't know.
More than 10?
Here we go.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You've seen photographs of you with Caitlin Albert on some of these day trips, correct?
Yes.
You've seen at least 3 of those photographs.
Yes.
You're friends with Caitlin Albert on social media?
Yes.
Other than the 3 photographs that you've seen, we just talked about, there have been other events that you've been at with Caitlin Albert that weren't necessarily photographed, or we don't have those photographs, correct?
Probably.
You know that Caitlin Albert is the same Caitlin Albert that's the daughter of Brian and Nicole Albert, as you sit here.
Yes. As I sit here today, yes.
And you know that Caitlin Albert also has siblings, Brian Albert Jr., correct?
As I sit here today, yes, I know that.
And you also know, as you sit here today, that 34 Fairview was, at the time of January 29th, 2022, the Albert home, correct?
I know that as of today.
You indicated, let me rephrase that. When you showed up at 34 Fairview that morning, did you recognize that address or recognize the home as being that of Caitlin Albert's?
No.
You have since learned that that was Caitlin Albert's home.
As I know that now.
And you gave your original statement to Trooper Proctor the next day.
Yes.
And from that day to this day, or let's take yesterday, from that day to yesterday, you learned that 34 Fairview was the Canton Albert family home, correct?
You're asking if I know from...
Between those 2 dates.
Yes.
Between the time you spoke with
Yes.
Proctor in this report till yesterday when you testified, you now know that that's the Albert home.
Yes.
Look at the sour face.
And you also indicated
that far one.
That between that report that you gave to Trooper Proctor, that statement that you gave to Trooper Proctor, and yesterday's testimony, your statement has evolved. You've already admitted that, correct?
I don't think I agreed with you on that.
It's changed. It's different.
I've always testified to I feel as though my testimony has been consistent.
I appreciate how you might feel. I'm just interested in the actual facts. You didn't tell Trooper Proctor anything about this officer questioning my client. Correct?
Objection.
So I'm going to see counsel at sidebar because I think this morphed into a different.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, Lordy. You guys. Hustle this biatch off the stand because I want to crawl through my computer and choke her. Oh, Lordy, 5 in an hour and 40. Actually, not even. So like an hour and a half. Yeah, 6 sidebars. Okay. Yeah. Why doesn't this judge just be her defender? Right? Why doesn't she just sit there and like knock the shit out of everybody? It is, Ruthie.
Do you agree, Ms. McLaughlin, that the statement that you gave to Trooper Proctor is not the same as the statement that you gave to these jurors yesterday? Right?
Yes.
That just told me that.
Yes.
Uh-oh. Why are they timing out? I'm pulling my hair out. Scratching my head and pulling the hair out. Like, what the hell are we watching here? Exactly what did not happen in a courtroom? It's our example of what not to do. Yep. So your story changed. Ask her.
A couple of other questions. When you did make this statement to Trooper Proctor, your visit to Canton PD was coordinated by another officer to put you and Trooper Proctor together for the interview, correct?
I don't recall that.
Do you recall being contacted by a completely different officer to say, hey, Trooper Proctor wants to talk to you, come on into Canton PD, let's have an interview?
I don't remember exactly how the interview was set up.
So that was my next question. You may have just told me this. Do you have any recollection who set that interview up?
I don't.
His name Kevin Albert. Sound familiar?
No.
You know Kevin Albert?
No.
You know him to be a police officer at Canton PD?
No.
You know him to be the brother of Brian Albert?
Objection.
No.
The objection sustained.
What?
That's all I have now.
Okay. Lily, any redirect?
Yes.
Come on. Oh, yeah.
So firefighter McLaughlin, you went to high school with Caitlin Alford, correct?
Yes.
And could you describe the nature of your relationship, if any, with Caitlin?
I would describe it as we're not close friends. I would say we're more acquaintances. We have mutual friends. I don't have a one-on-one relationship with her.
And you were asked some questions about social media, correct?
Yes.
And if you could, or if you could guesstimate about how many friends, and I'm sort of throwing air quotes in there, how many friends on social media would you have?
I don't know, probably 500.
And of those probably 500 friends on social media, how many of those are actual friends that you talk to, interact with beyond social media?
Much less than that.
Now, prior to, well, let me ask you this. As far as, would you say that you saw Caitlin Albert more so when you were in high school or more so since you have graduated from high school?
I would say probably more in high school because we were there every day, so.
And about what year or so was it that you graduated?
2014.
And as far as any sort of photographs that were referenced to you, have you seen those photographs?
Here?
Yes.
Here today, I saw them.
Do you have any idea where or when those photographs were taken?
I don't remember.
And of those photographs, it's not just you and Caitlin Albert in a photograph. Is that correct?
Correct.
So a larger group of people, is that correct?
Correct.
When you were asked about sort of these day trips, they were sort of trips specifically on a day to a beach, it looks like, correct?
Correct.
And
You said you
to a
didn't
beach
know
with a
where.
larger group of people, is that correct?
Correct.
And with reference to Caitlin Albert specifically, have you ever socialized with her in any setting beyond a setting that contained a large group of people?
No.
Now, with respect to, you went to, you say high school, you graduated from Canton High School, correct?
Correct.
And you grew up in Canton, is that correct?
Yes.
And did you know Caitlin Albert before you attended Canton High School?
No, that's probably when we first really interacted, was high school.
And essentially, you live within the town I'm sorry, you work within the town that you grew up, correct?
Correct.
And is that abnormal from a civil service perspective?
No, from a civil service perspective, you're given more points for residency. So it's actually, I would say, preferred, or you're placed higher on the list if you have residency in that town.
So it's actually preferred and more common than uncommon as far as growing up in a town and then working in that same town in a civil service position like a firefighter.
Yes.
Now, during the course of the time that you've been on the Canton Fire Department, have you received calls to residencies or other places or even patients that you either knew or were familiar with?
Yes.
Would that be a reason for you to not go on a call?
No.
And you have an obligation, wouldn't you say, to respond to a call when a call is made and you're on duty in that station house, correct?
Yes.
The objection sustained. Ask the question differently.
As far as when you're on duty as a firefighter at a particular station house, and you get a call, what, if any, choice do you have to respond to any particular call?
I don't have a choice. I just have to respond to the call.
And then prior to that date of January 29th, had you ever been over through socialization or otherwise Caitlin Albert's house?
Not that I ever remember.
Has she ever been over your house?
No.
And again, had you ever socialized with her outside of a large group of people?
No.
When you responded on that morning, just after 6 a.m., the house of 34 Fairview Road, did you know who lived there?
No.
During the time since January 29th of 2022, have you ever spoken to Caitlin Albert about what happened that morning in front of 34 Fairview Road?
No.
Now, you were asked some questions on cross-examination about knowing sort of Caitlin Albert's parents' names or siblings' names or things of that, correct?
Right.
And prior to January 29th, you didn't know any of those names, is that correct?
No.
You learned of them subsequently, is that correct?
Yes.
May we approach just briefly?
Okay.
This is painful to watch. Unreal. I think the jury deserved to see what was actually said before they came into the courtroom. Yeah, every time she moves her lips, she's lying. That's about it, Ruthie. Eyes can't lie, girly girl. I hope that this jury is sitting there noticing that the defense keeps getting shut down. Yeah, that would have been the way to go. Bev wanted to be in charge. She wanted this in her courtroom. I wonder why. I wonder why. Maybe they should add their. It sounds like they are. FBI is looking at cops and prosecution. I think maybe they should check into Judge Bev. No, she's not, Dingo. No, she's not. And I really hope that the jury is seeing this. Yes, that's right. Yep, I totally agree. Oh no, JJ. Oh no. Thanks for being here, JJ. Go straighten that out. Happy Friday, friend. Oh, Lordy. Poor man. So that was 7, right? 7 we're at sidebars in hour and 40.
So, Ms. McLaughlin, you learned of those other people's names within the Albert family subsequent to your response to this call on January 29th. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you learn of those through sort of various news or media reports in relation to this case, not something that you had any conversations with anybody about, correct?
Correct.
I have nothing further.
All right.
Your Honor, if I may.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
You indicated, Ms. McLaughlin, Mr. Lally just asked you about these 500 friends on social media. A couple of quick questions about that. Of those 500 friends on social media, how many of those have you taken day trips with?
I don't know.
How many of those have you gone to the beach with?
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
How many of those have you posed for photographs with?
I don't know.
How many of those have you posed for photographs in swimwear with?
I don't know.
I don't know.
How many of those have you been photographed with your arm around while that other friend is drinking a beer?
Sustained. Sustained.
Ms. McLaughlin, all of those things that I just mentioned, you have done with this Caitlin Albert.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
That's all I have.
Okay. All right, Firefighter McLaughlin, you are all set.
Get the hell out of here, woman. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't remember.
All right, jurors, we are getting ready to go for our view. So we're about to visit a place which you'll be hearing about some more. You've heard about, you've seen photographs of, and in court terminology, we call this view. The purpose of the view is to help you better to understand the evidence, which you'll hear during the trial, and to help you appreciate the location and its surroundings. The view that you will take is a part of this case. The observations that you make while on the view may be used and considered in your deliberations in reaching a verdict. The place that we're going to go, you've seen photos of, you've heard it, it's 34 Fairview Road. The lawyers and I will accompany you on the bus. The attorneys may point out to you the arrangement of the scene and items that they want you to pay special note of, but otherwise they cannot discuss anything in this case in regard to this case, and they can't talk to you. All right, they'll be able to do an opening here and they'll be able to point these things out. While you're on the view, it's very important that you can't take notes and you certainly can't use your phones and take photographs. All right, it's really just for you to see. You cannot conduct any independent investigation while we're there or at any time during the trial, as you've been told. You're not to return to the scene or ask anyone else to do it for you until the case is over. So this is your opportunity to take a look when we go. What you are to do on the view may be best summarized in 2 very familiar words, which is stop and look. Okay. Your responsibility is to see the place, to observe it carefully, and to remember what you see. So during your trip to and from the place that we're going to view, you're not to discuss this case or anything about it among yourselves or with anyone, and you are not to permit anyone to talk with you about the case. You'll be under the supervision of our great court officers at all times, and you'll remain together until you return to court, unless the court officers direct you otherwise. And just so that you know, because some of this came up during our jury selection process, spectators, if there are any, and all members of the press have been ordered to stay 100 yards away from you. All right, so you can go and you can look and take your time looking without worrying about any interference from anyone. All right, so with that, Mr. Clerk, could you swear in, please, the court officer?
Court officers, raise your right hands, please. Do you solemnly swear you will take this jury upon the premises in question and there suffer them to view the same and any property, place, or thing bearing upon the issues on the trial, as they shall seem necessary? That you will not permit the parties to enter in a debate in front of the jury or a person to speak to them unless it be Adam Lally for the Commonwealth and Alan Jackson for the defendant. They to point out such places or things as they deem expedient for the determination of the issue, and that you will keep the jury together until they shall return into court, except the court shall otherwise order, so help you God. Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Lally, do you want to do a short view opening?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
So ladies and gentlemen, as her owner just described, we're about to go to a place. When we arrive there, and at any point in time when we're there, this is not a point where we can have any sort of conversation or back and forth. So all I'm going to be asking you to do is just take note of certain locations and certain items as you see them. And again, as with anything in this case, this is as you find them, as you observe, okay? So first I'm going to ask you to sort of, when we arrive in the general area, as far as taking note of sort of street names when you're coming into and when you're exiting from this particular area. When we arrive at a specific location, I'm going to ask you to take note of certain things about the roadway, okay? Certainly any abutments to the roadway, any residences that you observe, the distances between the roadway, and any landmarks or any items that you observe on that property, specifically a driveway, specifically a front door, any other sort of items of interest within the front lawn area of that. I'm also going to ask you to take note of the roadway itself and sort of the width of that roadway, whether or not you find any sort of lanes separating within that roadway, and then the individual width of some of those lanes as well. Lastly, there is also going to be a vehicle there as well. And I'm going to ask you to take note of certain things with respect to that vehicle, okay? With respect to the size of the vehicle, with respect to the height of the vehicle, with respect to anything that you observe specifically from front, the side, the back, all of the exterior of that vehicle, and then also some of the interior of that vehicle. And specifically, I'm going to ask you to take note of sort of the center console in the front driver's compartment of that vehicle, and anything that you observe in that location as well. And that is all I'm asking you to do on this case, and I thank you again for your time and attention.
All right, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's the first time we've been able to speak to you directly, so I want to take the opportunity to introduce myself and thank you for your service and thank you for your time and commitment to this. I'm going to echo a lot of what Mr. Lally just said. There's nothing magical about this other than it gives you perspective. It's an opportunity to introduce you in three-dimensional form to stuff that you've been seeing in two-dimensional form. Photographs, some of the testimony, diagrams that you might see.
So I'm sorry, we're really pointed on what you can say.
What we're going to ask you to do is take special note of the relationships of physical items out at the scene. Much as Mr. Lally just indicated, there are going to be physical things out at the scene. You've heard about a flagpole, a fire hydrant, a house. We're going to ask you to take special note of where those are in relation to other things physically at the scene. That will hopefully, with the court's instruction, give you some assistance in putting together the testimony that you think is relevant, the documents that you think are relevant. And again, to echo what Mr. Lally said, we're going to ask you to look at the roadway, the vehicle, the house, the physical items at the home, and the relationship between and among all of those things to each other. Hopefully, that will give you a very good understanding of what we're dealing with, especially with the exhibits. Thank you.
All right, so folks will be all set. We'll see you at the bus in a little bit.
Just make sure your notebooks are closed.
You
You are
guys.
muted. Goodbye.
Oh my God, you guys. Oh yeah, she'll be with them. She'll be with them. What do you guys think? Like, honest to God. I'm sitting here getting crankier and crankier and crankier at this situation. I don't see where this is fair. I don't. In order to get truth and justice, we need to hear the truth. And she's not allowing truth in. She's allowing what she thinks will follow a narrative that she is coming up with. Like, she just doesn't want them to see the facts, it seems to me. It's more like they're yes. It's like she's more interested in just steering them one direction than she is about staring everyone down the center so that the jury can make good decisions. It's disturbing me. I'm sitting, I cannot speak. Oh, thank you, my friend. I don't have a hat on. You're so kind. Thank you. Right? She knows that it would probably collapse the whole law enforcement community. I'm dumbfounded. Me too. Me too. I have never seen this before. What a setup. It's very obvious. The judge is in on it as well. Even blind Freddie can see this. Much love, my friend. Are you getting cranky over there too, Carrie? Like, it's just, what are we seeing? What's going on here? Give me a second. Give me a second here.
Caitlin Albert, we've been friends for 10 years. We went to high school together. We've been on day trips together. We've been to the beach together, and we've socialized together. I wouldn't have to show any photographs, but that's not what she said. What she said was, I went to high school with a person named Caitlin Albert, which is a bastardization of the truth. That's not the truth. And those 4 photographs are what got her in the voir dire process, what got her to admit that she in fact does know Caitlin Albert, and those are on a very, very different level than she first suggested. As the SJC is explained in the case of Commonwealth versus Aguiar, Aguiar, at 400 Mass 508, pin site at 513. It's a 1987 case that says the following, and then I'll finish my record. Quote, a defendant has a constitutional right to bring to a jury's attention any circumstance which may materially affect the testimony of an adverse witness, which might lead the jury to find that the witness is under an influence to prevaricate. It matters not that the evidence would reveal an otherwise inadmissible fact, such as the witness's commission of a crime. A judge may not restrict cross-examination of a material witness by foreclosing inquiry into a subject that could show bias or prejudice on the part of the witness, end quote. That's exactly what we believe we were entitled to do with Katie McLaughlin as a witness for the Commonwealth. She has bias, or at least the jurors can consider a bias. She has prejudice, the jurors could consider a prejudice because of a pre-existing relationship with Caitlin Albert about which she was not truthful. So I wanted to make that record and ask the court to reconsider whether or not those 4 exhibits could be introduced. I don't need to make any big deal about it. I don't want to call her back to the stand, but I think the jurors, now having had the description of those photographs, should be able to see them in evidence. And I would submit.
All right, so that request is denied. The record's clear. So Ms. Reed is not going on this view. She just needs to make sure she's back here by the time we return. So Mr. Yannetti, you're nodding.
Yes,
you will contact her and make sure she's back here.
Understood. All rise for the court, please.
He had a little bit more to say yeah. Yep. She's just a witch. Just a witch. Yeah, they call her Auntie Bev. And she's still able to sit there and decide which direction she wants this trial to go. It's disgusting to see. Basically, the guy just read the law to her and she just said, screw the law. Yep, and this is a witch's coven at work. Yep. Yep. Oh my goodness.
Hey there, Karen Reed, trial watchers. You know what a lot of the trials we cover remind me?
Okay.
It's that you got to be careful.
So with that said, guys, I'm going to set up and watch for when they come back. They'll probably have their lunch after their field trip and yada, yada. But I will absolutely be back when they're back. So I'll set it up. Make sure to subscribe, like, share, and hit the bell so you know when we're streaming again. And I'm going to be taking a look at Daryl Brooks. He's got a hearing today. So we'll be kind of keeping an eye out for that as well. And if I can squeeze it in, we'll be taking a look at that as well. No, we don't get to see the field trip. They load them up in a bus and they'll take them on a bit of a road trip and point out what's what. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if they can at this point. I don't know if it's too late or I have no idea if they now have to, if she gets convicted. I think the next step would literally be an appeals court. I don't know if they can go to the Superior Court right in the middle of a trial. I didn't know. Okay, guys. So thank you very much for hanging out with me for that mess. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for being here with me, and I'll see you soon in the next one. Bye.